If you've ever looked at the crypto market and it just felt like pure, unpredictable chaos, you're definitely not alone. But what if I told you there's a hidden logic to it all? A pattern that once you see it, you can't unsee. Well, today, we're handing you the map.
I mean, you've probably seen this happen, right? Bitcoin goes on this incredible run, it's all over the news, and then, just as it starts to take a breather, a totally different group of coins just starts to go ballistic. Is that just a coincidence? Is it random? The answer is a hard no.
Yeah, this isn't some wild guess. It's a cycle that we've seen play out time and time again. You can think of it like a river of money that flows through the crypto world in very distinct stages. And, understanding this flow, that's the absolute key to making sense of everything. So what does this whole journey actually look like? Well, it all starts with regular money, dollars, euros, coming into the market. From there, that cash almost always flows straight into Bitcoin. After that, it moves into the other big players like Ethereum. And finally, it cascades down into the wild world of altcoins. Let's break down each step.
Okay, phase one. It all starts with the king, Bitcoin. This is the first and honestly the most important move in the whole cycle.
So why Bitcoin? Simple. It's the biggest name, the most trusted, and the easiest to buy and sell. When big money, I'm talking institutional funds, decides it's time to get into crypto, they look for the safest, most established front door. And for years, that door has been Bitcoin. It's the bedrock for the entire market cycle.
So after Bitcoin has its massive run-up, that money doesn't just disappear. Nope, it starts looking for its next home. And that brings us to phase two, the second wave, which is usually led by Ethereum.
Now this is a really important move to get your head around. Investors who've just made a ton of money on Bitcoin start to think, okay, let's lock in some of these gains. But instead of cashing out completely, a lot of them just move those profits over to the next biggest and most obvious thing, Ethereum. And this chart just shows it perfectly. See that first bar on the left? That's Bitcoin's performance leading up to its peak. Now look at that second bar. Ethereum often has its best performance in the months after Bitcoin has topped out. That right there, that's the money rotation happening right in front of you.
All right, now for the final, and let's be honest, often the craziest part of the cycle. After the giants, Bitcoin and Ethereum, have had their moment in the sun, the money starts to spill over into everything else. It's like a waterfall into the altcoin market. And this is what everyone calls altcoin season. The wealth effect is just in full force. People made money on Bitcoin, then they made even more on Ethereum, and now they're feeling confident, maybe a little too confident. So they start looking for those higher risk but potentially higher reward bets. That capital just floods into thousands of smaller projects, lighting up the entire market. So what's the whole point of knowing this? Well, for a lot of people, the goal is to ride these waves one after another. The strategy is to take the profits you made from the Bitcoin wave, use them to get into the Ethereum wave, and then take all of those profits and roll them into the altcoin wave. It's all about compounding your gains as you move through this cycle. Okay, so now you have the roadmap. But just knowing the path, that's not enough to actually win. This is where we need to shift our thinking. It's less about following a map and way more about playing a high-stakes game of chess. This quote just nails it, doesn't it? The market isn't just a thing that happens, it's a dynamic game with other players. It's not enough to just know how the knight or the bishop moves. You have to anticipate your opponent's next move, control your own emotions, and, most importantly, protect your capital.
So, this whole chess idea really comes down to three things. First, reading the opponent. That means understanding what the big institutional players are doing. Second, managing your mental endurance. That's all about psychology, mastering the fear and greed that trips so many people up. And last, but for sure not least, never run out of chips. It's the golden rule. Risk management. Protect your capital so you can stay in the game.
And this slide really gets to the core of it all. Knowing the process, that money flows from Bitcoin to Ethereum to alts, that's just step one. But being a real player, that means you're not just reacting to what happened. You're thinking ahead, you're anticipating the next rotation, and you're actively managing your risk at every single step.
So let's just do a super quick recap of the whole thing. 1. New money comes into Bitcoin. 2. Profits then rotate over to Ethereum. 3. Those gains then spill out into the broader altcoin market. And 4. The most important part, don't just stand there and watch it. You've got to play the game with the strategy of a chess master.
So, I'll leave you with this one question to think about. Now that you have the roadmap, are you just playing checkers or are you playing chess? The choice is yours.